Hello, let's discuss on health and diseases. What is a disease? Disease can be any physical or functional change from the normal state that causes discomfort or impair the health of a living organisms. Disease is caused by varieties of agents. The first one, let's discuss on the biological agents or pathogens. Biological agents or pathogens are the agents that cause disease or illness to its host. So let's take an example of malaria. In human being, malaria is caused by a protozoa named Plasmodium vivax. So here Plasmodium vivax is the pathogens because it is causing the disease and human is the host. So pathogens are the agents which cause disease to the host. Now the pathogens can be virus, bacteria, or even fungi. The second agents can be nutritional agents. Nutritional agent comprises of food components such as minerals, carbohydrate, fats, protein, etc. The third agents can be chemical agents. Chemical agents can be of two types, that is endogenous chemical agent and exogenous chemical agents. Endogenous chemical agents are those agents which are produced inside the body. Example, urea and uric acid. Exogenous chemical agents are those agents which enters into our body from outside source. So exogenous chemical agents can be pollutants, pollens, or even spores. Now the fourth agents that cause disease is physical agent. Physical agent includes heat, cold, humidity, temperature, or pressure. And the fifth agent is the mechanical agent. The mechanical agent includes mechanical forces that causes injuries, trauma, or even dislocation in the body of the living organisms. So these are some of the variety of agents that causes diseases in the body. Now we shall discuss on types or classification of diseases. Broadly, the disease is classified into two types. The first one is congenital diseases. The second is acute diseases. So congenital disease or diseases are those diseases which are present in the body of the living organisms from the time of birth. And this congenital disease arises mostly because of the genetic disorder. Some of the example of congenital disease are hemophilia, sickle cell anemia, diabetes mellitus, etc. The second is acute diseases. Acute diseases are those diseases which are acute by the individuals in time in the life after birth. This disease may enter into the body of an individual either directly by contact or through contaminated food, water, or even by air. Now, acute diseases is classified into two types again. The first one is infectious or communicable disease. The second is non-infectious or non-communicable diseases. So infectious or communicable diseases are those diseases which can be spread or which can transfer from an infected persons to another healthy persons, and these diseases mostly arise because of the presence of pathogens. Some of the example of infectious or communicable diseases are measles, pneumonia, TB, typhoid, and even malaria, etc. Now non-infectious or non-communicable diseases are those diseases that cannot be spread from infected person to healthy persons. Some diseases include the degenerative diseases, deficiency diseases, allergies, cancer, etc. So these are some of the diseases which are non-infectious or non-communicable diseases. Now we shall discuss on mode of transmissions of communicable diseases. Communicable diseases can be transmitted through two methods. The first one is direct, second is indirect method. So in direct methods, the communicable disease can spread through direct contact with an infected persons. Some disease like chickenpox, measles, ringworm, or even syphilis spreads through physical contact between the infected persons and the healthy person. The second is by droplet infections. When an infected person sneezes, cough, or even spits, it releases many saliva into the air. So these saliva in the air form a droplets. So these droplets become the source of spreading the infections to the another healthy person. So those type of infections, so some diseases like influenza, common cold, TB, and even whooping cough spreads through these droplet infection, through droplet infections. The third is by through animal bites. Disease like rabies also spread through bites of animals like dog, cats, or even monkeys. So these are some of the ways through which communicable disease can spread through direct methods. So the second is by indirect methods. In indirect methods, disease transmit through vectors or by vehicle borne or by unclean hands. So vectors are those living organisms that spreads pathogens from an infected person to another healthy persons. And that's second example of housefly. Housefly spreads disease like cholera, typhoid, dysentery, and TB. So here housefly is the vector because it is spreading this disease. So even some of the examples of some other vectors like Culex spreads disease called as the filariasis, and Anopheles mosquito, it spread malaria. So in indirect methods, some agents are required for spreading the disease. So the first one is vector-borne disease. The second is the vehicle-borne disease. Vehicle-borne disease are those diseases which spreads through certain agents like contaminated food and water. So disease like cholera, dysentery, typhoid, and hepatitis B, they spread through contaminated food and water. So these are vehicle-borne disease. The third is through unclean hand. Some diseases like ascariasis, amoebiasis, they spread through unclean hand. That means when hands get contaminated with the bacteria or the pathogen that is causing this disease, when the unclean hand contaminated with this disease touch the eatable items, these bacteria or the pathogens get stuck with the food and contaminate the food. So when a healthy person eat this contaminated food, the pathogen enters into the body, and this is how the disease starts. So through unclean hands, many different types of disease can be spread. So indirectly, these are some of the various ways, that is through vector, vehicle-borne, or unclean hand. So these are some of the various ways through which communicable disease can transmit.